Hey, what's good, fam? Whew, we're almost there. It's almost time. Should we have a podcast today with a former champion? Yeah, I think we should. All right, everybody, get a beverage, sit back, relax, watch, listen, whatever you got to do. But today's guest is John the Machine Davis. And always remember 3, 2, 1. That's a knockout.
3, 2, 1, yeah, that's a knockout. They call me kamikaze, put you in heaven's lobby. On gas, no brakes, you can never stop me. Nah, no, you can never stop me. Yeah, cause I'm the Power Slap King.
Slapson, baby!
Hey, what's good, fam? You see the smile? You see the smile? We must have somebody in the building to talk with. John, you ready?
Let's roll.
All right, let's do it. All right, everybody. There's the clap we're looking for. Welcome to Slap Son. We got the man in the building. It's been way too long. He returns, John the Machine. Call the robots the AI Elon, because nothing's going to power this man in a chip. It's all his heart, son. Everybody give it up for John the Machine Davis.
Let's go. Hell yeah.
Dude, has it been, correct me if I'm wrong, and I apologize if I am, but has it been since 9?
Yeah.
Bro, how are you?
I'm surviving, man. I'm just out here lifing every day. So, I ain't mad about it. I'll be grateful that I'm here.
Dude, that's a good answer, brother. That's a good answer, man. Family good and everything? Kiddos?
Yep. Everything's good to go on that front.
Great, man. Great. Well, it's good to see you. It's been a minute. What's funny, what kind of goes through my mind and what I want to ask you is, we've talked a lot about patience in the fight game the last couple of interviews, and you are definitely a part of that now in a very literal sense. Did you get any discouragement along the way? Did you think, are they ever going to call me? Like, what's been your mentality, man, since we've seen you last?
I was discouraged even before 9 because there was a whole year in between as the title holder that I had to sit the sidelines. So, I was definitely impatient then. And luckily, even though as much as the break that I had to take, I didn't necessarily want to, it was good. It did me a lot of good. There was a lot of me a lot of things that I have figured out in that time, to say the least. So, it's one of those things where the motto of "it is what it is." There's only so much that I can do, and the sport was going to grow with or without me. So it's not like there was no one waiting on me at that point. I was waiting on everybody else to kind of catch up for that year-long first stint that I had off. And then since losing in Abu Dhabi to now, it is what it is. I'm looking at things in a different light, in the aspect of I'm so grateful for everything that I've been able to do. First, going to Vegas, I never thought I'd be out there, and then getting flown around to the other side of the world to go to Abu Dhabi and, be over there to experience a different culture, 14-hour, 45-minute flight. But hey, I would gladly do it again.
Dude, very good, man. Do you feel, nobody can take away from you what you've accomplished, right? And is that something you can look at and say, no, I'm still in this game. I still want to pursue this. I want to be champ again. Or do you look back at that and think, dude, this is a crazy and still is a crazy ride. I just want to be involved and stay active.
I still think that I have some championship time left and another belt in my future. I believe me, there are times where I've been like, hey, maybe this is it. And, 'cause the whole losing was definitely hard to deal with because I was so used to winning. Like a lot of people might forget, like I've blown my shoulder out in a match and somehow still came away with the win. So like I was just so used to, no matter what, at the end of the day, my hand being raised. And then finally, when you end up losing, it was a lot to deal with because it wasn't just a loss. I was the longest reigning champion at that time. There was so many other things that stacked up underneath of it that, it's I I won't say the pressure got to me, but I can tell you that I felt the pressure.
Hey,
That's for sure.
oh, there we go. Sorry, man. I think you cut out for a sec.
Nope, you're good.
No, I think I appreciate the honesty, man. Like, because one thing I'm learning, in this fight game and specifically in our weird world of slap, right, is it's so personal and it's so, I mean, you're looking straight at your competitor in the eyes, and we all know what's going to go down. We all know what's going to happen. So to take a loss, it I don't know, it just feels so much more personal. So to dig deep and have patience and accept this fight coming up is huge, John. That's huge.
Yeah, definitely. I am not the same because I can tell people this coming into the future. You get to talk to John Davis right now. The alter ego of the machine that has to go out there is a different entity because I am no longer going to be the regular nice person, humble person that you talk to now out there because that was part of my problem. They obviously don't like that. It's not marketable, I'm going to assume, to say the least. So whatever it is that I have to do when I get back out there to put myself back at the top of this game is what I'm going to do.
Wow. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if whoa, John, that was big, buddy. So you're taking it as, look, I am who I am. I'm this nice, humble guy on the mic, whatever. But being that person on the stage was not paying dividends.
No, no, I could. The only thing I ever got told when I asked, like, what could I do to make myself more marketable was just keep winning. Like, and
Okay.
do you know how hard it is in this game to just keep winning? And
Yeah.
I did for quite some time. I just kept winning. So, that's again, that didn't pay off to again, I'm not taking anything away from my career. I'm not mad about anything.
Sure.
But I also see that they're, especially with I mean the deals that they just signed. So like there's a 5-year deal where Power Slap's going to be in Vegas, let alone everywhere else, back overseas. The new states and over here in America. Like I still want to be part of all of that stuff, whether it's competition or not. Like I very much dedicated so much of myself and time into this game. Like you said, no one can ever take away what I've done, and I'm never going to be erased from this, no matter what. I could completely delete every social media forever. There's still going to be people for until the end of time or the whole world blows up that are like, hey, that was the first ever champion, multiple title defenses, did some of the craziest shit, swung his blown out arm because of a drunk guy in the crowd. Like the stories of all of that stuff will never be gone.
No, absolutely. I'm just thinking about all the stuff with your career right now in the back of my head, and since it has been a minute, it's kind of flooding back in. And honestly, man, I think the sports missed you a little bit, dude. Like you just it's good to see your face around and to see you out there doing your thing. And I love that you touched on, look, no matter what happens, you're forever that guy in the power slap ethos.
Yeah.
And so going forward, and we have this new angle on it, if you will, to come in and do all that, as far as not being so humble, being who you are, puffing up who you are, the person that you are, the champion that you are. I'm going to ask you this question that I asked Logan a month ago, so ago. Power slap, more social media entertainment, or power slap, show your skill set, knock fools out, good things happen? Or is it kind of a combination? Because I feel like you
You
might have
have to
learned that
have both.
lesson more than anybody.
You have to have both because you can be great and again just keep winning. Like, don't get me wrong, you get your fight checks, you get you could win a bonus, all of that stuff is great, but when it comes to the other things outside of the sport, you have to be active and you have to catch people's attention. And I'm not like I did catch people's attention, I did have sponsors, but again, there's so much more that I think could have been done in the time span that I've had. So that's what I was just telling someone the other day, like this comeback is my Phoenix moment. Like I've been at the top, I've done all of the crazy shit, I've been here and there, I'm forever cemented in this, but this is the moment where it is do or die, revitalize my career and shoot back up to the top, or, worst case scenario, I get to write off with whatever I've already done and, hopefully still be a part of this. Like I would love to get into the coaching that they have doing. I've been a coach before. I'm sure it's not that there's not that I think there's a specific reason I haven't been coaching. Again, it was the evolution of the sport. They had new people coming in, so new people are getting a chance. But I would still like to be a part of all of this, considering I was there at, the very beginning when there was fucking 10 people sitting in
Yeah,
the apex where you could literally be like, "Hey Dana, what's up?" And he's like, "Hey man,
that's
you guys are
crazy.
you guys are crazy."
Dude, so no, I mean, look, fam, I know we're talking through the internet, but I can feel your energy's different, bro. I really can. Like through the camera, I can feel that, like, no, there's a fire in you to come back and solidify yourself. Do you really feel like this is because you haven't left the rankings? You're still top 5. You're still like as far as your establishment in the rankings go, you've always been there. So do you feel like this fight is it more of a comeback for you, or is it more of I never left, bitch? Like,
I don't know. I'm salty about the rankings in all reality. I should have never been moved from number 1.
okay,
I was the
okay.
longest reigning champion in Power Slap up to that moment, and then I lose and I don't get a rematch, and then you have a three-peat rematch afterwards, which, I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't entertaining, but from my side, it's like, where the fuck was my rematch at? That would have
Mm,
been a good idea in my opinion, considering I was technically winning that match until I wasn't. I'm not saying that I was winning while I'm laying on the ground fucking
sure,
looking at the
sure.
lights,
Yeah.
but I was winning that match up until I wasn't. So, I feel like there was plenty of reason and room to have had a rematch. But no, like I should have never been moved from number 1. Everybody else should have been moved around me, and then I got moved around other people. So, it's fine. Go ahead, give me a bigger chip to put on my shoulder, because what people forget is the last time that I lost, when I was at heavyweight doing this, where there's no video evidence of that match ever happening, I came back at 185 pounds and then worked my way to being a champion from road to the title. So if
Yeah.
you think that caused me to come back with a fire in my belly, let's see how this goes now. And I completely understand there's always a chance I'm going to lose again. I understand that. I've had to deal with that aspect of it. That's what people should be scared of. It's the same as how I think you ever hear people talk about, a man of God being able to kill in the name of God, or what something along those lines, like the Crusades. Those people were slaughtering people, but they were doing it in the name of the Holy Spirit. That's the kind of energy that I'm going to walk up there with.
Wow. Wow, man. John, I love this side of you, dude. I really do. So seeing how the sport is evolving and seeing how and saying how you want to be involved with it in whatever capacity. But before we get to your career is over and you want to be a commentator, like we're not going to focus on that right now. What I want to focus on is when this match is coming up and it's against Stunt, yes?
Correct.
Okay. So Stunt I think Stunt is one of those wrestlers they brought over that can have it, meaning he's not doing too many antics. He just goes up, does his thing, and does a celebration, then answers questions and walks off. But it's going to be interesting because we just haven't seen his chin yet, right? And if you step on that stage with Stunt and it does go your way, I'm trying to take in everything you've been saying, bro, and it's just like the victory comes your way, you're calling out the champ immediately. Yes?
Oh yeah. I'm calling out the whole middleweight division like I always have. Don't get me wrong. Do I want that title shot? You bet your sweet ass I do. But I'm I here's what none of them probably think about. I carried this division for years while the rest of you were at home sitting on the fucking couch, talking, wishing, shoulda, coulda, woulda, in, popping dirty on piss tests from the beginning of Power Slap all the way up until now. You know, I'll give the only people I give credit to are the people who have had injuries, and that's why they had to be out, because there's nothing we can do about that. I know how that goes. I know it's a pain in the ass. Like Bordeaux, for example, him having to deal with his injuries and then make comebacks, like more power to him. Props to that guy, all respect. But everybody else, like all that bullshit that has held up our division, that is your fucking fault. You were unprofessional. You
Man.
either didn't read your contract and didn't understand what you were supposed to or not supposed to be on. You didn't take stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. I could, I don't want to talk all this shit. And then the next thing you know, I pop dirty because some supplement, even though it was under the guidelines of being third party tested, you can still have those things happen. But you need to elaborate on that for everybody to know. Not, oh, this everything behind a curtain, barely exposed of what happened in that situation. Like if you pop dirty for being on something, you're fucking cheating. Don't get me wrong. In the words of Daniel Cormier, if you're not cheating, you ain't trying. I get that. But we got to find different ways to do this shit because you have held up our division for years now. The middleweight division was already having trouble when I was champion, waiting for people to come up. There's a reason why Azael had his second chance against me, not taking anything away from him because he absolutely deserved it, but because nobody else could even pass him at that point for us to have our rematch. Like if anything should have happened, we should have had a trilogy before anybody else for how things were
Man.
going. But what the middleweight division needs to understand is you're all still riding my fucking coattails. You will be riding my coattails until the world is over. Because if it wasn't for me plowing the way for this middleweight division to even fucking exist in the beginning, none of you are here. Not a single one of you.
Man. John, you're coming to do you feel like you're coming to it feels like you're saying you're coming to save the division in my eyes.
I mean, I had to save it before. I'll gladly do it again, and I'm barely, this is my first cup of coffee today. I'm not even done with it yet.
Hey man, I'm gonna tag you on Thirsty Thursday now with a comment like that. You know what I mean?
Do it. Do it.
So all right. But we do have a champ standing there. And we just had a good matchup with Azael and Brandon. I'm sure you watched it.
Yeah.
That matchup, and I was really open about it. That matchup kind of surprised me, but I was excited for it because it was a good matchup. And we learned a couple of things in my eyes. We learned that Azael still isn't human. He's a monster that just pops up somehow. We learned that Brandon Rhodes does have an anger switch, and he let it out on Azael. And then we also learned that it seems like Isaiah and Brandon want that match. However, Brandon told me straight to my face, but he wants a proper buildup. He wants to have, some shit talking going back and forth. I don't know if he means the promotion building it up, on top of them doing their thing
Yeah.
on social media. I can't really speak for that, but it seems like that's what's kind of catering. But we also have Brandon saying he might go to a different weight class. So I'm trying to be as non-biased as possible. So this is my takeaway. You're coming in with some fucking heat, and I love it, bro. It's so good to see you. So good to talk with you. And Brandon is like, hey, I just want to put on a good show, the best matches, and if I can have a proper build-up, I want that championship belt. And if I don't, I'll I'll go to another weight class if that's what's best for me and showing an exciting fight for the fans. So if you come in and do your thing, I'm not so sure it's Isaiah and Brandon, for sure. I think there's a wrench in the cogways, and it feels as though that's exactly what you want to have happen.
Oh yeah. The biggest, not just a monkey wrench, the biggest fucking pipe wrench that you can find on an oil rig is what I want to throw into all of these possible plans that they have. I I've been undeniable before. I would like to do that again. Brandon and I were supposed to have had a match at one point in time. Unfortunately, they told us that it was no longer going to be happening. They wanted me to wait longer. So, that it is what it is. But if they gave him the title shot now, I would completely understand the reasonings why, especially after defeating Azael. The guy's been in how many fucking title fights? Two
Yeah.
against me, one at 170. He's not a gatekeeper by any means. Just because he's uncrowned technically, that guy's a champion in Power Slap forever. He definitely was. I hate saying it like this. He was the stepping stone for them to be able to verify, hey, we can give Brandon a title shot because of him beating you. you know, because vice versa, it could have gone the other way. Azael could have easily, if he would have won, he could have been like, oh, hey, you know, it's my turn. I've come back up to this weight class, put on a good showing against the top ranked guy. Now give me my title shot again. So that could have gone either way, but that's how I see it. Because of him winning, they can then say, hey, you know, he beat this guy. It only makes sense for him to then be projected up and do a title shot.
It's a you can't have a crystal ball in this sport, can you?
No, it's impossible.
It's impossible. Like, and it's funny because now that we're, shall we say, entrenched in this world with the podcast and everything, man, you hear all types of birds chirping. Like, and I just look. A lot of times I hear before what it's going to be. In fact, probably 9 out of 10 times. But shit, man, I never put that shit out there. I always just keep the mouth closed because you don't know until it's announced. And even when it's announced, a fight might drop out or a replacement comes in. So I respect the fact that during this time away, you just kind of sat back and it sounds like observed, and you realize it's kind of a shotgun world, right? But now that you've got this chance to go up there and do your thing, you want to be the one that can say, no, I've got the shotgun now, and I want to have my time again to prove that I can still do this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, being doubted the entire time as a champion, you know, whether people were actually doubting me or not, that's definitely what, in my mind, it felt like, whether I was making that up to give me
Really?
the edge. Oh, yeah. I mean, just it just always felt that
Even
way
with
to
the
me. But
shoulder
that,
injury and all that shit?
yeah, like I just always felt like people were doubting me, even, you know, before the shoulder injury, during, after. There was always something, but that could just be me up here giving myself like, hey, you have to make sure that you push, because that was part of my biggest problem before, was I was pushing so hard just to prove to myself that I could work hard. Like 10-mile runs necessarily aren't necessary for Power Slap.
Sure.
Now, are you mentally prepared to go through hell after doing that? Yes. But, you know, on top of having the time to look back and kind of reassess things. um you know, everything at this point, it is what it is. In the past, moving forward, I have this different mentality and this different view on things of what it is that I need to do in this business to be more successful than just a champion.
Yeah, no, I feel that, man. Well, let's pivot a bit. Let's talk about Stunt. I'm sure you watched his matches. It's funny. I think I had to find him on X, bro, because I guess his Instagram and Facebook got hacked or some shit, which totally sucks.
Yeah, right.
But I'm sure before you've scrolled through his social media, I'm positive you watched his matches. Is there anything you can see in those two swings that you can take something from and use that to your advantage?
Yeah, you know, like I will not, again, where credit is due, I will give it to the guy. You've won the coin toss twice. You beat a guy on your both of your debuts. Good job. You know, you beat a former champion in AJ Hince, so that's definitely a good for your resume, but also was his 185 debut. Good job. Um, but what else? Like what else? What else is there? You're regular just like the rest of us in that aspect, even though you come from the wrestling world. Like you don't know what a 5-round war up there is like against somebody like me. We don't even have 5 rounds anymore. Like this is the first time I get to be in a
That's
three
true.
round fight, and I don't know how many years. Years is what people need to think about. It's been years since I've been in a 3-round fight. So like, you know, I'm excited. Like that sounds like a fucking cakewalk to me. Like again, I know I can lose, but also I know that dude has never gone against anybody like me. And what people don't really understand is, like, I'm not looking for excuses as to how I lost in the past, but the the issues that I've had in the past, you know, was so, well, that loss, and then in another instance, I had an infected tooth in my mouth.
Ugh, that's terrible for this sport, dude.
Yeah, it's terrible for a multitude of sports, but I will say this, going up against Isaiah, I don't technically think I was 100% when it came to that. Again, now I'm not
Mm,
taking anything away from him either. By all means, he won. Kudos to you. But I know no one's ever knocked me out in the first round with or without a tooth infection. No one's ever knocked me out in the second round. And by all means, I thought I was still going to be standing there in the third round until I wasn't anymore. So,
yeah.
there's never a doubt in my mind of the confidence and my capabilities of going back up there and standing there and taking a hit from anybody. Like again, people don't they forget I was once with heavyweights. I had a huge weight differential. So us being within like 10 pounds of each other don't mean shit to me. Like
Yes, dude.
you really better bring it. And by all means, I get he's a lefty, so that's different. I've been hit by a lefty
Yeah.
before. Luckily, I've gone against a lefty. It wasn't anything super ridiculously hard, but I've gone up against a lefty before, so I at least have that experience to go off of and from the past. So like again, I will not take any credit away from him where it is due, but also I don't necessarily think he knows the can of worms he's now open.
And it's funny, bro. I was excited for this match. I was excited to talk to you because it'd been a minute. I gotta tell you right now, the adrenaline inside my old 44-year-old heart is even more excited to see you guys go at it now. Like, so I've started saying these things over and over on the podcast, and they're getting into the slap some vernacular, if you the canon. And one of those is we will find out. And I couldn't be more excited to see you and Stunt up there and find out what's gonna happen. And in the new venue during WrestleMania, all these things, John, I feel like there's going to be a lot of eyeballs, not just on Power Slap as a whole, but on you as well, because it's fun to be a part of something that's still really growing, getting established. So people are going to dive details on you. They're going to dive details on Stunt, and they're going to find out, oh shit, a former champion's going to get up there, and an up and comer and this and that. And do you, through everything you've said, like, okay, I'm going to get up there, fuck being the nice guy. You don't like that? Cool. I can bring the rage on the mic and all this kind of stuff. Is there still a part of you, though, knowing this career you've had that is just, for lack of a better term, just excited?
Oh yeah, I eh, again the fact that it's a 3 round match, like bro, I have it. I feel like I'm starting over again.
That's cool.
Again, like the Phoenix moment thing is really something that I've thought about in a multitude of deeper ways than just like, oh, you lost and you're coming back. Like, no, bro, because of where it's at in Vegas and when it is during the WrestleMania thing, like you said, people are gonna go, oh, hey, a guy who's a former champion, go look at my resume. Go let me remind all of you who in the fuck it is that I am and what in the fuck it is that I've done. Because without me, and then the three other guys who were crowned that night as champions, you guys have nothing to go after. If we all just would have been a beltless event, you would have had nothing to go after. So for the rest of eternity, we will be those guys. And to this day, I still am that guy, only I am a different, better version of that guy now.
Wow. Well said, man. Well, hey, I think that's a good spot to end it, brother. I'm so happy you came on. So happy we got to catch up a little bit. And everybody, if you're not watching this card, you're crazy. We got 2 title matches on the line. We got 4 more champs coming up to just make another wave for themselves. Tune in. It's going to be amazing. John, thank you so much for coming on, man.
No, thank you very much. Appreciate you as always.
And let's hang out for a bit while this bitch uploads.
Yep.